Shikun and Benoy Soלל Bונה is Israel's leading construction, infrastructure, and real estate company. Soלל Bונה is Israel's only company with an unlimited classification in all fields of construction and infrastructure. The company has raised the bar on safety. Keeping its workers safe and sound is the company's top priority. This tutorial is part of the company's commitment to maintain the safety and security of its workers. Hello, this is a general tutorial. A more detailed instruction will be given by the site manager. However, it may save your life no less. Don't do a task if you're not confident about it or can't do it. If you're assigned a new task or if the equipment or work process has been changed, ask for a detailed instruction before doing the task. Personal protective equipment is meant to maintain your safety and health. You are required to use the standardized, intact protective equipment you've been provided. The protective equipment includes a safety helmet, full and proper clothing, high S3 safety shoes, and a luminous vest. Additional protective equipment will be required, depending on the nature of the task and the risks involved, such as protective gloves and a protective mask for activities such as cutting, welding, grinding, earbuds or headphones for tasks with harmful noise levels, breathing masks for tasks with harmful dust. Working at heights, including all tasks involving a risk of falling over 2 meters. Tasks performed on a work platform without a standardized fencing or rail. Tasks requiring bending the body in a 45-degree angle over a rail. Tasks performed on lift equipment. All these tasks will only be performed by a qualified and certified worker with a valid certification. It is prohibited to work in a place that does not guarantee your safety. Any place you can fall from over 2 meters must be fenced. A fence will include a grab handle, mid-rail, and footboard. The company sites have net fencing for fall protection. Make sure the fencing is shut and locked. The ladder is meant for climbing up and down between levels. Before you begin to work, check that the ladder is appropriate for the nature of the task performed. Check that the ladder is intact before each use. Do not use a damaged ladder. The ladder must be placed safely on a straight, stable surface with a ratio of 1 to 4. There must be 3 grip points on the ladder. If that is impossible, a harness, rope, support, and positioning must be used. Before you begin to work, make sure that the scaffold has been checked and approved for use by the site manager. Only workers certified to work at heights will work on scaffolds. Make sure that the work platform is at least 60 centimeters wide. Make sure the platform is secure and there's a rail comprised of a grab handle, mid-rail, and a footboard. Climbing on scaffold rails is prohibited. When working on mobile scaffolds, check that each wheel has a brake and that it can be unlocked. Prevent falling of objects and remove debris and surplus materials from the scaffold floors. Activation of an aerial platform will take place only after receiving training to activate the platform. A valid Israeli driver's license and a certificate of training at height are required. Make sure that there is a valid safety survey of the platform. The worker must be harnessed to an anchor point during the entire time on the platform. The work will be performed after sealing off the danger zone and stationing a spotter certified for rescue operations. Climbing on platform rails is prohibited. Driving the aerial platform is prohibited at any time while the platform is deployed or while the arm is elevated. Driving is permitted only after approval by the spotter. Working with intact appropriate tools is mandatory. Do not use makeshift solutions. Electrical equipment and work tools aren't allowed into the site without authorization from the site manager. Do not use work tools you do not know how to operate. Ask for guidance. Make sure there is a residual current device against electrocution in the distribution board you use for your electrical devices or extension cord. Only use standard, intact electrical equipment with industrial sockets that were checked and approved by a certified electrician. Any alteration, change, or makeshift solution involving electrical equipment is strictly prohibited. Removing shields from work tools is prohibited. The work area must be kept clean and tidy during all work hours. Walking is permitted only through safe passages in the site. Be careful of slipping or tripping while walking and going up and down stairs, ladders, scaffolds, etc. Entry into unlit places is prohibited. Notify the site manager that the place is dark. Beware of animals and reptiles, and of bee stings and mosquito bites. Any work with an open fire or heat work must be approved by the site manager. Make sure your work area is clear of debris and flammable materials. While performing a heat work, make sure there's a fire spotter and a handy fire extinguisher. It is your duty to use the appropriate protective equipment for the heat work. In case of a fire, warn and alarm the workers in the area and have them evacuated. Inform the site manager of the fire. If needed, call the firefighters. Electricity must be disconnected. If there's a fire extinguisher at the site of the fire, remember the activation steps. Check that there's adequate pressure in the extinguisher, that the dial is in the green section. Break the seal, pull the pin, hold the hose, squeeze the handle and aim to the base of the flames. In case of a more widespread fire, evacuate yourself and others from the building through nearby areas that are clear of the fire. The site contains hazardous materials such as fuel, oil, and paint. Do not handle these hazardous materials without receiving the proper training and certification. Make sure that the hazardous materials are stored in a ventilated area, with signage, and with proper access and clear paths leading to it. It is prohibited to light a fire anywhere with hazardous materials. While handling hazardous materials, use personal protective equipment required for different types of materials. If a leak or spill is detected, stay clear and notify the site manager. You must be vigilant while moving around the site and pay attention to alerts on mechanical heavy machinery as a flashing light, a backup beeper. Stay away from areas where the operator cannot see you and always maintain eye contact with the heavy machinery operator while you work and move around the site. Heavy machinery requires a spotter. Eye contact must be maintained with the spotter through the heavy machinery activity. While driving backwards, make sure that the backup beeper is operating. Using cell phones is strictly prohibited while operating heavy machinery. Entry to an excavation site of over 1.2 meters is prohibited if it is not protected and secure. Excavation in a depth of over 1.2 meters will be inspected daily by the site manager. Pay attention not to get close to the edge of the marked excavation area. Excavating areas of over 2 meters will be surrounded by durable fences and approved by the site manager. No standing under lifted cargo at any point. Be vigilant to your surrounding or near an area where lifting takes place. It is prohibited to perform cargo tying and signaling if you are not certified to do so. Full clothing covering most of the body must be worn during the summer. Make sure to drink small amounts of water frequently rather than large amounts infrequently. Make sure to wear warm clothes during the winter and maintain a high carb and sugar diet in order to maintain body heat. Treatment of a casualty will only be done by a trained person. Unprofessional treatment may be harmful. Any incident must be reported immediately to the site manager on site. In case of a fall, do not move the casualty and call for immediate help. In case of injury by chemical substances, rinse immediately with water for 15 minutes and make sure professional medical treatment is received. In case of an electric shock, disconnect the power source by disconnecting the main switch. Call Medical Emergency Services, Magen David Adam. Dial 101 and begin resuscitation, depending on the casualty's condition. In case of a heavy load, get assistance from additional workers or demand from your manager to use lifting equipment. Proper lifting of a load. Bend your knees at a 90 degrees angle. Move down towards the cargo while your back is straight and upright. Lift while straightening your knees, using your leg muscles, not your back muscles. Move with the load in a way that doesn't block your sight. Place the cargo on the ground while bending your knees at 90 degrees angle while your back is straight. Receive safety instructions from the site manager on site.